Good morning. Welcome to the Bond Sunday morning services. Thank you so much for being with me. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. You can get involved by calling 800-411-2663, 800-411-BOND, or email me, church@bondinfo.org, church@bondinfo.org. Put your name and town on it. Concerning last week or this week topic. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
How are you?
Good.
So we were talking about what happened on American Idol, and I was saying that the guy listened to the woman and he lost because he listened to the black guy who was like a woman and the woman. So he became soft and lost because his talent faded away, and Simon was trying to warn him not to do it. Do I sound like I hate women when I say that? No?
No.
Oh, okay. You do notice that when men don't have their own thoughts and do what's right, they suffer, they listen to the woman, they get it wrong. God said that, I didn't say that, I just repeated what he said. And then the man always end up saying, I knew I should have done it my way. Even with the kids, the woman said, don't yell at the kids, don't punish them, don't do this. And when the man backs off, the kids grow up angry and out of control. Have you noticed that?
If the man is true to himself too, then he's not a woman, right?
I'm sorry?
If the man is a true man too, then he has the right understanding about what to do, but he may be a woman too, like most.
But have you noticed that about men when they listen to women, that the kids end up crazy? Y'all scared today, or what's going on here? Oh, thank you for my birthday presents and calls and stuff like that. I appreciate it. Yesterday was my birthday, and you people were very nice to me about it. So thank you for that. But you guys don't want to talk about the woman thing unless we talk about the men, so let's move on. All right?
Well,
yeah.
When you say the women, I mean, mostly you say the woman is wrong, and it's kind of like that's who she is, you know, and I really think you want to say that the woman is basically an emotional person, but she can overcome that.
Yes.
But all I ever hear for all these years is just the woman is wrong, the woman's wrong, the woman's
You never heard me say they can overcome
I've
it?
I've heard it, but overall the message
Out there, they have not heard it.
Right, the message is that she's just terrible no matter what. And like she'll stay in the relationship and raise her children, the father will leave, but you'll talk about the woman being so horrible to the children, and she doesn't know.
Right.
And so you're saying she doesn't know, so then how can you condemn her for not knowing?
Right, so I sound like I'm condemning her.
All the time.
All the time.
99.9999.
All right. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I say that is the nature of a woman.
Right.
So the nature of a woman is the nature of a woman. So how can you be denigrating someone just by bringing it up?
And what do you say to that?
I'm not saying you're doing that, but I'm saying your overall message. I'm saying that's what it looks like the woman is. Her nature is, it is emotional, but we understand that her nature is emotional, but that means, when are you saying she can get over that, she can get over that?
Yeah.
It seems like you're not saying, maybe you do say it, but not enough. I've heard it, I've definitely heard it.
Right.
But it doesn't seem like that in the overall scheme of things, because mostly you say she's negative.
And I need to make it clear that she can overcome it.
Right, and that's what she's supposed to do.
Okay.
She's emotional because she didn't have a good father or whatever. Her nature is emotional from Eve, I guess, but she can't overcome that to be a better person.
She can absolutely overcome. And it's not her, but it's this thing that made a home inside of her. Mm-hmm. It drives her. And so it's the spirit that's inside.
Right.
It's not the physical person itself. But she can overcome that spirit. Is that clear?
No, it's clear to me. I understand.
Yeah, she can overcome it. So you need me to say more like that, right? I mean, you're probably making a good point.
What do other women think? You know, what do you guys think? I understand women's emotion, they're naturally emotional. But when your message is, I've been here for many years, but when you're talking to the audience out there, I don't think
they are getting that.
Yeah, because it took me a long time to really get that. So it seems like maybe you're not saying it enough, because it took me a while to get that.
Right.
All I could hear was the negative side. Does anybody agree, or anybody have anything to say?
I agree also, and it also sounds
no, really,
like
just give me yes or no, or what?
The
Yes,
women
ma'am.
are negative, but the men are good. I mean, but you know, there's no balance, and I just, you know.
So it's all like the women are negative, but the men are good. Oh, okay.
There's no balance on how, you know, the women are always terrible, but there's no balance on how to overcome.
I'm not saying enough as to how to overcome. Oh, okay. That's a good point. Even though I thought I said all the time.
Maybe instead of saying women is good, maybe say women's nature is negative or something. Like I said,
Yeah.
I get it, I understand.
So if I said women's nature is evil, then that would make it better.
Yeah, because for me,
You say no?
That sounds terrible to me.
That sounds terrible to say her nature is evil.
Because for me, a lot of men that I knew lately are more evil than I am. In,
Yeah, that's the problem right now.
in regards to lying or messing around with other women while they are in a relationship.
Right.
And don't you think that's evil then?
Yes.
You will say in
It's
history that-
evil for men to cheat on their wives.
Or if they are not wife and husband yet and they are in a relationship, you are to stick to that person, and you are not to messing around with other.
Or if they're in a relationship but not married, they should not cheat around on the woman,
Yeah.
right? Even if they're not married. Are you saying that? But they can't help it.
So then, what makes you say then that we are the one who's evil and men are not? If cheating is not an evil thing to do or it's not a sin, how could you say that women are tend to be evil and men are not? So
But it is evil to cheat on your wife.
lying,
It's evil.
messing around are evil things.
Yes.
Which men normally do. I think.
But if a man and a woman is not married,
It doesn't matter. If you are in a relationship, you are not to lie or you are not to.
but if you're not married and having sex, you're not in a relationship. Did you know that? I can't hear you.
I don't know that.
Yeah. How many people know that if you are not married and having sex with the woman you're with, you're not in a relationship?
So which means it's okay for that person to actually sleep around with the other person.
So what now?
Which means it's okay.
Yeah. In
It's
that,
okay.
yeah, because the woman is getting what she deserves and the man is getting what he deserves. There is no honest, holy commitment if you're having sex before marriage. And a man is not, will not, can't not, ain't not, that's black not, ain't not. A man is not going to be faithful to a woman that he's having sex with and not married to. He's going to mess around. You could bank on that. It's hard enough when you're married not doing it. But when you're not married, women, you need to know that if you're dating a man and having sex with him, he is cheating with somebody else. He can't be faithful because he has nothing holy in him. There's no commitment, but he is cheating on you. So that's not a relationship. A relationship is when you get married and you make a promise to God to do the right thing, and the man is subject to what is right. Then he's less likely to cheat on you. But when he's cheated on you, if he's having sex with you and not married to you, he's having sex with everybody else and their mama. Mark my word on that. And any man tell you that he's not, he's a liar. And he know that you love lies and that you're going to accept the lie. Because there's no commitment there at all. That's why God made or invent marriage, so there could be a commitment there. Don't expect no commitment from a man that's not married to you. The only way that he may not cheat on you is that you're not having sex with him. That's the only way. You leave out the sex part, you have a chance. You bring in the sex part, it's over. Because one woman ain't enough. Isn't that true? How about the guys? Is that true or not?
That's true.
I think relationship is
One
a
woman's
nice
too much.
term for fornication.
Uh-huh. It is not I'm glad you brought that up. And yes, it is evil. But it is not a relationship. It's a whole ship. Isn't that true? It's a whole ship. And if we be honest about it, at least we'll start to wake up and change, and women will stop having sex. Those that really want a husband will stop having sex before marriage. And then God will put a good man in your life. He really will. But a lot of women try to get men by having sex before marriage. And all you're doing is setting yourself up for someone to cheat on you before marriage and after marriage. Because there's nothing, it's not being built on a solid foundation. It's not being built on something that's going to last at all. After a while, one woman become old and tired and boring, no matter how you do it. You can turn flips, you can hang from the wherever. You still become boring after a while. Because it's not built on friendship is not built on knowing the person and liking the person and respecting that person. And that's why I call courtship, so you can get to know the person. And if you don't like this person, then you don't marry this person. Because you get to know we don't really agree on much. You know, I don't like this about the person or that about the person. But when you bring that sex in, it's over for the person. It's now fiendship. It's like addiction. And believe me, one dope dealer, like the woman that's a dope dealer, by giving him sex before marriage, is not enough. It just,
How about if you don't actually see it as sex? See, some women or some men tends to see making love with somebody as a sex thing, which is more of a physical thing. But if you see it as more than that, you slept with the person because you love that person. So I don't see it as a sex. Sex is just physical thing without feelings when you actually slept with someone. That is sex and that is a sin.
now women may see it that way, because I know some women that are not really into sex. They feel like, oh, I love this guy, so let me feed this pig whatever you want, and let me call it love. But take it from me, men see it as sex. They do.
We are the ones who are being misled then
Yes.
by men.
Yes,
Because
ma'am.
we don't see it as a sex.
That's right. Absolutely, but you're being misled. But men see it as sex. Now they'll call it, like you're like, oh honey, come on, let's make love. You're like, okay, honey, let's make love. He'll say whatever you need to hear.
So then why makes us evil then and not the men then?
That is evil on their part. Because he's taking advantage of a weaker vessel. A man should set the standard, not take advantage of the woman's weakness. But they're weak too and pathetic. And that's evil. But men do not see it as making love. Now they'll use those words. A man would tell you that he love you when he hates you, just to get sex.
Okay, then why come you're giving that message that we are evil and not the men are?
So what now?
I mean, I just dislike that fact that you are actually giving that message, even for the men to hear that we are the evil people.
No, both are evil.
I don't see myself as evil person.
I know most people don't. But
I
God,
really don't see myself as an evil person.
well, God said that every man, woman heart is evil. We have evil hearts that we need to overcome. And the problem is most people don't want, and that's a very good point. One of the things that prevents people from being born again is that they don't see themselves as evil. I mean, for years, I did not see myself as evil. I thought I was one of the nicest people you ever want to meet. I gave my money to the church. I went to church. I treated women the way I thought that they wanted to be treated. I loved my mama, my grandmama. But yet I was an evil man. But every heart is evil. But you don't, why is it that you don't see yourself as evil?
Because I'm a giver person. I'm
You're a
giving
giver?
person. Yes, I am. I don't take. I give.
But that could be weakness.
I don't know about that.
I'm sorry?
I don't know about that.
Well, don't blame me, blame God. I mean, and I'm not saying that you are evil. I'm sorry?
I mean, I don't blame anybody.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not saying you're evil. You need to know that. Everyone needs to know for themselves, because you got to go to God and apologize for your own sin.
God is my father. I don't sin.
You don't sin?
I don't sin.
Well, good.
I don't sin.
That's possible. That is possible. If God is truly your father, you would not sin. That's for sure. But for those that are not, they need a brand new heart. They must be born again. And the problem is they don't want to see. The hardest thing in the world for men and women to see is that they have an evil heart. And they do all these things to keep from seeing that they have an evil heart. And somehow or another, they'll convince themselves that they're going to enter into the kingdom of heaven with this evil heart, that they'll cover it up and preventing themselves from sin. It's not going to happen. You got to repent before you can enter in. So you're right. If you're the daughter of God, then you don't sin. But for those people out there, they need to see that too, so they can enter into the kingdom of heaven. That makes sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say that if you are the daughter of God, then you will show your love to him by obeying him
Yes, ma'am.
and not obeying man.
That's right.
What a man needs is of no interest to you. What God needs is of interest to you. So you do not live to please man, you live to please God.
That's right. And a good example of that is when these little weak men come along and they want to have sex with you before marriage, you say, hey, here's the finger. What hand does the ring go on? This hand?
Left.
This hand?
Yeah.
I've not had one on yet, so I don't know. Here's the finger. Put a ring on it, then we'll do it. Until that happens, brother, we're just dating.
Beyonce told them.
Because you're pleasing what's right and not some weak man that's trying to get you in bed.
That's right.
And I think what you're saying too, maybe we think we're good, but we haven't seen the evil that we really can do, just given the opportunity.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, we say we do nice things, but then, like you say, the minute someone turns back and says, well, you know, you do things sometimes you do things for a reason, or well, you didn't do that, you didn't return the favor, so now I'm mad at you. So
Yeah.
that's evil right there. So
That's evil.
Seven
That's
ways
right.
that we can be evil, and it would spiral out if we had more opportunity.
I wish that you could see yourself. Really. That's the key to freedom. The only thing that saved my life is I asked God to let me see myself, and he did. And myself wasn't what I thought myself was. It was a mess. But I couldn't see it. I just could not see it. I don't even know if I wanted to see it prior to that time, though, but I could not see myself. But once you truly see yourself, you can't help but change. You start changing automatically. Unless you see yourself and get mad about what you see. That can happen too, I guess. But my suffering caused me to want to get over it, so I didn't want to go back to that. But absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
You answered my question
What was that?
about if you're really from God, you follow His commandments, you don't have sex
Yeah, you won't.
before
You won't have it.
marriage.
One of the ways to know that you love him is that you keep his commandments.
That's right.
It's in the Bible. It says that if you love me, you would keep my commandments. And my commandment first is not to hate your fellow man. Don't have any hatred in your heart at all, no anger. Because if you were to carry out all of the laws, all of his commandments, but you have hatred in your heart, then it's worth nothing. Everything else is false. You can't have any hatred. That's how you know that you love him. Isn't that interesting? Yes, Susan.
I was just going to say, women know too that, you know, when you have sex before marriage, you know you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
You know, I've heard women try to convince you that, oh no, there's nothing wrong with it, but they know deep down, we know.
They know it. That's why they changed the name to Making Love.
Yeah.
Making love sound making love sound better than making hoish. Doesn't that sound better, making love?
They used to call it fornicating.
They used to call it fornicating, yeah. You can't even call that no more. Everything that's wrong now has been given a new name, a softer name. But if we have what Jesus called it, believe me, many more people will wake up. They don't even want you to call women whores anymore. And you know why? Because that would make them wake up. A woman doesn't want to see herself as a hoe. I wish the women could hear. I'm going to take a recorder with me, and when I hang out with guys who are having sex with women and not married, I'm going to record the conversation so you guys can hear what they call you. I had that old hoe last night. I call it making love because that's what she wanted to hear. And they go to the next woman and tell her the same thing. The same lie they tell you, they tell it to every one of them because women love lies. If you want a woman, all you do is lie to her. Oh, you're so beautiful. You're the only one. Will you cheat on me? No. But you cheated with the last woman. She was no good. She was cheating. She was a cheater herself. And the woman like, oh, okay. Just tell them lies. And I'm telling you, ladies, this because I don't want to see this happening to you. And we used to talk about this in the old days. Really. It used to be harder to get a woman in bed when I was growing up than it is today. I would have to ride that horse to see my girlfriend a whole year because her mama done told her what not to do. And her daddy gonna get her if she did it. You know, so, and I used to ride the horse. Anybody ever rode the horse to see a woman? Isn't that funny? I used to ride my horse to see my girlfriend. It would be so dark outside that I couldn't even see where we were going, but the horse knew. And that's because we had no street lights on the plantation. And nowadays, you can look at a woman, you're in bed with her. Just like that, just look at her. You pick her up at the club, you could stop along the way to her house and do it on the street, in the car. That's how bad it is. Yes, ma'am.
I'm still having a hard time comprehending what you guys are talking about because that's not the environment where I grew up.
Good.
That's not how we are. So if we see, you guys term the word sex, and I do term it as being one with the person that you love. Even without the actual marriage itself, or you are in church to be seen by many people. For me, making love with someone you love is like you are already united in God. If both of you are in love and doing it, that's already a marriage by itself in the eyes of God. For me.
Oh.
That's not what God
Where are you
said.
from?
That's for me.
Where are you from?
It is funny for other people, but it's not for me.
Well, what does God say?
But let me just add. No, I want to say
If you give yourself to the person you love, I think that you are not sinning if you actually did it, because He's the only one in your heart, in your mind, or every.
What's in his heart?
If,
right.
Where are you from?
Now, what you're saying, what I hear you saying is that as a woman and the way you were brought up, that making love to a man before marriage is because you love this guy and he loved you, so it's making love, right? And you don't necessarily have to be married in order for that to happen.
in order for you guys to be united in the eyes of God. That's what for me, I thought marriage is when you are actually, if you actually did it and you are in love, you are already united by love alone by itself. Just the love that you actually have in your heart. But
I see what you're saying.
united, you are already in union to that person.
Right.
That's what I thought it would be.
Yeah, I do too.
That's what I thought. So,
Right.
Marriage in papers is actually by people to see, but for me, marriage in the eyes of God is if you actually are in love with the person and you did it.
Oh, okay.
And the other person does too, and that's already a united, and that's already a marriage for me.
I understand what you're saying.
That's what I understood about
Right.
marriage.
If you notice in the Bible, when God gave Adam the woman, He married them. Have you ever read that? He united them together under Him. He married them. Have you ever read that?
That's Genesis. That's too far.
That's too what?
Hard.
That's too hard?
That's the Old Testament version, right?
Oh, I see. So because the marriage was done in the Old Testament, in the New Testament, it's not important anymore?
That doesn't point anymore.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
That doesn't apply in our world anymore. It doesn't apply. Those things doesn't apply.
When you say our world, who are you referring to? When you say, are you referring to your culture or who?
Like for example, let's just say about Jesus Christ being crucified. I don't believe on those things.
Oh.
Okay? I believe more of the angelic part of the world.
Oh, I see.
I just don't like the suffering thing. I disregard those things.
You disregard the Jesus thing.
Well, I know that there is somebody in this world who has so much love in his heart that he's going to give everything that he has
Right.
just to help out.
Right. But that wasn't necessarily Jesus.
Anyone.
Okay. Well, let me just do this because of time. First, I want to tell you is that this thing that men and women feel when they come together, in all reality, is not love. It's not love at all, because love is not a feeling. Love is a doing what's right. Is a thing that guides you into doing the right thing, respecting one another, being honest.
Right?
You know, doing the right thing.
That you dedicate your...
But it's lust that men and women feel. That's what all that feeling is about when they come together. That's why after they get together, whether in marriage or not, it started to fade away after a while. And then the real person set in, the real people, you know, they start to see each other and they realize, wow, I don't really like this person. Because they thought all that stuff they felt was love. But that's not love. That's what happens when you're in your fallen nature. That is like animal love. It brings you together. And it's set up for that purpose, to bring men and women together. But it was never intended to last. And so it's not love at all. Love comes most of the time in a marriage, it comes after you get together, you fight for 50 years, you have your kids, and now you're too old and tired to fight. You start loving one another. Like, I'm not going anywhere, I've been here. And you start respecting each other, get to know each other. But you need that fallen nature to come together. But it is not love. But a lot of people think that it is. That's why they end up in divorce. Because they thought, oh, I felt all this stuff. I thought you loved me, and I loved you. Now where is the love?
No, you can see the love by the deeds of that person.
But
Not just by saying it, but what he does.
yeah, but that stuff that brings you together is not love. It's absolute.
Maybe the other person is, but maybe the other one is.
No, not even with women. That's not love either. It just feels like that, and that's what you call it. But you need that in order to come together with the man. But just know that that's not love. And then another point I want to make is that 99.999.999, but not all. 0.9% of men don't love women. Most men hate women.
Then that's what we have to put in our head.
Well, don't put it in your head. Just know that he doesn't love you. That's why he lies to you. He take advantage of you. He cheat on you. He take your money. He abuse you. Because he doesn't love you. Men hate women. That's why they act like little boys with their wives or girlfriend, because they hate mama and they just with
Not all
mama.
men.
Huh?
Not all men.
That's why I said 99.99. Not all, but most. Most men hate women. They hate the mothers. And they turn to little boys with women. And that's not love. No, I know we have to need to think that is love so we can come together, because if you woke up to this reality, you would never get married. But just know, ladies, or you can call me 800-411-BOND. Men don't love women. They hate women.
Oh, you're gonna get a lot of calls.
I've not met... Huh? No. Yes. Anybody disagree with that? Yes.
I disagree.
What about after
I
marriage? I mean, after marriage and the lust is still there, I mean,
After marriage,
yeah, and, I mean, how does God see that? I mean,
the lust is still there after marriage.
Yes.
And that's okay as long as you are married, because you need that to come together to have some children.
right,
Because if you had peace, then you wouldn't see anger. That lust is coming from anger. And anger awaken your sexual nature. Have you ever been like really mad and you had the best sex? Made up sex. They call it
yes.
make-up sex, right?
Uh-huh.
Or you've been so happy.
it's the best kind.
She said that's the best kind. It's like beat me so we can have good sex, huh? Or you're so happy because your husband bought you a diamond ring, you felt real good. And that's another way of having good sex, right? Mm-hmm. You feel good or you feel bad. Isn't that true?
Right.
Well, see, you need that to come together. It's all emotional. It's all ego. It's not love, real love at all. But you,
Even in the marriage, you think?
not even in the marriage, because what's going on in the marriage, you still have all this anger going on, distrust, the anger going on, and it keeps your sexual nature awakened, alive, so you can have some children. But after you have had all the children that you want to have or can have, then it's time for the man to start pulling away from that, for him to start overcoming his anger. You know, forgive his mother, stop resenting, so he can hook back up with God and have that perfect love and bring his family to order too, his wife and children. But in that fallen state, you gotta have that in order to, and so that's why even in relationships, marriages, men and women still fight, because their anger is there to keep them sexually alive. So it's good, bad to have it. Now, if you had it with understanding, it'll work. But a lot of people, they don't stay together because they fight so much and they don't understand what's going on. But that's when after you have your kids, I tell a lot of guys, no more sex. Just wait, you know. And if you do have sex, it should be like, quick, bam, bam, thank you, ma'am.
Oh my God. It's a good thing I didn't bring my husband today.
Because what they're doing is just giving away their soul to the woman. She's gonna forever control you when you do that. And women want you to worship them in bed, you know, just carry on over me, make me feel like the queen, just take forever just worshiping my body.
Please don't say those kind of things, because sometimes men actually take your word and think it that way. And they continue to mess around with women and think that women has to be treated this way. I mean, really.
So don't tell them the truth because you don't want them to know it.
Those kind of words is not good for men to even hear it, especially if their mind is not matured enough and they think it that way that you just said, and they continue to mess around thinking that.
But I'm telling them not to mess around. I'm telling them to love their woman, don't cheat on her, don't be angry, be patient, do the right thing. And that's what a woman should love having. They used to love that kind of a man. Wouldn't you rather have that type of guy?
No, most men in my country, they are not who you think. What you are saying about men tends to hate their mothers.
Right.
Not the men that we have.
What country are you from?
I know that I'm here in America, but I mean, that's.
No, I said, which country are you from?
Philippines.
Where?
Philippines.
Philippines.
Oh,
Men
no.
are-
You haven't been there lately.
I know Filipinos.
No. Those guys are
Our
Filipino.
men are very respectful with women, and they don't take us that way. I mean, really.
I don't know what men you're talking about.
I mean, most men that
Mister, you better tell her. Those guys in the Philippines cheat on everybody and their mama.
I don't know about that. Not the men that I knew.
They have you just.
Not the men that I grew up.
Now, let me just say this, because there are exceptions to the rule in every given situation. Everybody understand that?
That's why sometimes you have to really actually speak up, not only those things. I mean, you have to speak.
But we got to
also.
tell the truth so we can help those guys who are lost.
But sometimes all these negatives are all you're saying, and they stick it in their head, and they will continue to do the things that they do. I mean,
Yeah.
they think.
Yes, ma'am.
I think of what I'm getting in a better way of saying it is when a person is that way, they hate themselves, you know.
That's true.
When you
Maybe
hate
that's what it
yourself, you know, it's impossible to love someone else.
That's right.
You have to fix self first.
Right.
And you don't even have to tell anyone. When you're right and you're fixed, you see that because, like you said, you act that way.
That's right.
You behave that way. It bothers you to lie.
Yes.
It's not an easy thing to do. So I think when you fix yourself and when you're right, and that takes work. It's not that you come here like that. You have to see self, work on self, and become this person that you think would be a good person for someone else. So I think that's where you have to get. And when you get in a relationship and someone is cheating or something, they have not worked on themselves. They're not a good person to even be in a relationship.
That's right.
So it's not like they hate you. The hate is actually them. They
Oh, I see what you're saying.
That's
Very interesting.
That's the way I kind of see it.
Okay. Hate themselves. Hate themselves. Very good point. I had no idea we were going to talk about this today, but I'm glad. I want to come back to that. This young man want to say something. He's been waiting for a while. Yes, sir.
Young man?
Oh, yeah, old man.
God bless you. No, I wanted to say something about what the lady was saying, because what I got from her was saying, and I've heard this idea before, is that, you know, if two people love each other and so they go ahead and have sex, it's okay and all that. And I'll tell you how a man feels. If a man who does that afterwards, after he does that, he knows in his heart that what he's done is wrong.
Yeah.
And he feels guilty, and he knows that he's selfish. So you know what, that idea, it just doesn't fly, because you know what, if a man truly really loves a woman, he has to love God first.
Yeah.
If you love God, then you have an obedience to the order that He's established. And these things, marriage is something that God has established. It's not a man-made invention. So if you really love God, you would honor that, and there's no way you would want a woman to do that. You just wouldn't want to do it. And if you do it, you know as a man that you failed. You see? Because there can't be any love that way.
That's why even in a marriage, at least he feel worse about it cheating on his wife than he would his girlfriend or some woman he just having sex with. Because he was saying, you know what, I'm cheating on my wife, and even in that he has a chance to overcome that. But just someone he's living with or dating doesn't mean a thing. There's no inner commitment at all. And a marriage is a promise that man make to God to honor, to obey, to do the right thing, because he loved God first. He loved what's right first. And so he doesn't want to, for the lack of better words, break the heart of God. And if he doesn't want to break God's heart by going against what is right, he's going to have to be fair to his wife.
Okay.
But if there is no wife, there's no need to be fair to her. You see my point?
I would agree what he just said.
Okay. You like his better? Well, as long as you're getting it.
I got what he said.
Okay. So I'm glad we're having this conversation, because I want women to know that men are not seeing these things the way you see them. Not at all. But men they're good liars, and they can be whatever you want them to be. And they're also being into 100 other women out there too. They could be what you want, because the aim, the goal, the final goal is sex. It's not about loving you, which is unfortunate. And so if women take hold of their lives and stop caving in and giving in and thinking that they're going to get some love from this man, they get a good man, then it will force some men to stop acting that way. They'll learn to respect you. They wouldn't treat you in that manner. But if nobody has control, because in the older days, for the most part, women would say no, you know, and that will help contain the man, make him do the right thing at times. But now women are out of control. They've been convinced that sex is love, and it doesn't matter who you do it with, it's fine. You don't have to be married. They've been convinced of that lie. And this is why men need to overcome, so they can protect their women from lies. Women love lies. It's easy to lie to them. And then, I'm sorry? You say women don't love lies?
I don't love lies. I never
Well, you're
lied.
just one of them. Not all, but most.
I never lied. I never lied.
But men do lie though.
Yeah.
Men, not like, I'm not saying you love to lie, but women love to be lied to. You know what I mean?
And isn't it partly because a lot of women don't have a strong father figure, and so some of them are looking for that in a man?
They're looking for love. They're looking for a man.
Right.
They're looking for what's missing inside, and that is the love of a father. Yes, ma'am. And so instead of getting a father, they get had.
I have a father and I have a good mother.
So what now?
Good.
I have a a good father, I have a good mother.
And so maybe that's why your life is so good. But most men and women don't have it.
That's why I thought that men are what I thought they are. I was wrong.
Yes. And the best
Now
way...
you are telling me that this is the truth about men.
Yes,
It is.
it's the truth.
And then I was awakened as of today.
Oh, good. And the
That's
way...
not what I thought it was. And that's the reason why I was hurt.
Right.
Yeah. Well, not all, but 99.
Yeah, not all men, just 99.9. 99.9%. Anybody else disagree with me in here on this? What aspect?
Every statement you're making regarding a man being such a character, that's your point of view.
So what now?
That is your point of view.
What point is that?
That is the point you're making about the man's characteristics and how he's a liar. He lied to women and so forth. That's your point of view. I mean, you work with that point of view.
You're saying that doesn't happen?
No, you're not correct on that.
I'm not correct on that.
You can't put all human beings in
I
one
said
basket.
not all.
You can't, you 99.9%. I'm listening to you because it's comical to me what you're talking about.
Right.
It's real comical.
So you know men who have not had sex before marriage. They did not lie to the woman about it. They treated the woman.
I'm not arguing that point. I'm arguing the point that you said men are liars to women. They love to lie to women. And men cannot love women.
If they lie to them, they don't. They do hate them.
Because they hate the mother. I have never hated my mother.
Well, you're just one man.
No. There's many men who have hated their mother. A natural relationship of love can be accomplished between a man and woman because God intended it to be that way. He didn't want Adam and Steve together. And he didn't want Elizabeth to be loved with her. He created a simple manifestation of life to male and female.
Right. It can be done, but it needs to be done in a proper order.
That's what God established in the very beginning. And we cannot deviate from that. We can try to deviate from it, and we end up in
I don't know what you're talking about now. It sounds like you got on a different subject.
I'm in the same subject.
Let me just say to you.
I'm in the same subject. You said all men hate their mama.
No, I didn't say all, I said most.
Or 99.9%.
I left a little lightweight percent.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
Let's be real. Let's stay where we are. Because I've listened to the whole scenario that you put together. And it's your point of view, and you're entitled to that. That's good. But why spread it to the public?
Have a lot of what?
Why spread it up to the public? If it's your point of view, you want to
Have a lot of what?
Why spread it to the
You want to
public?
Oh, why
indoctrinate.
spread it to the public?
You want to indoctrinate some weak women to believing that this is true and this is a true character of manhood.
Okay. Okay, let me tell the women. So what?
It's maybe not in your day, but today it is.
Hold on a minute. A young man.
Well, it is true to me today that we all liars. Because
Yeah.
I have lied. And all the things, that's why I'm over here sitting laughing. And all the things that he was just saying, I just,
Well, you like
doing that.
because you have a player mentality. You want to be promiscuous.
No, it's not even a player mentality.
Yes, they do.
It's,
That's what they do.
yeah, they do it.
Let's face
And
it,
they do it because they hate women.
the old ones and the young.
And men know what women think because they hate women and they become like a woman. They know exactly what a woman feel and think. They know the perfect lie to tell her. Really, they just know because their mama is in them. Their mama nature live inside of them. So they know a woman doesn't even have to, they can look at her and tell the lie. And I know that because when I used to go to the clubs and things, you could sit across the room and see a woman and you just see her standing there and you know the lie to tell her to get her that night. It's just that thing identify with her and you lie to her and you know it, man. She doesn't even have to open her mouth.
If you get her, what have you gotten?
Just that, nothing.
Thank you.
That's all he wants, though. That's the point. And that's what I want women to understand. It's not about men loving you.
That's not a man.
Men don't love you.
That's not a manly relationship.
So what?
That's not a manly relationship. That's a player mentality. That's
What they call it, players.
Selfish immaturity.
Yes, absolutely. But, yes, ma'am. And then I want to get to what she said about hating them. And I want to come to the quiet corner over here, too.
Quiet corner.
Quiet corner.
The center corner. Yes.
I'd like for you to explain
Yes, ma'am.
only because I have a son, and I'm seeing him treat his wife and children. And I've had this conversation with him, and of course he's going to say, no, I don't hate you. You know,
Yeah.
I've apologized for some of the things that I did in ignorance in raising him. He treats me well. However, he does not treat his wife and children the way they should be treating.
That's right.
And he did cheat on her, and he was married to her.
Yes.
Okay, she is a good woman, she's a good mother. But the challenge that I have is explaining to him how he hates me, because
Yes.
that's a strong word.
Yes.
And you can't tell him that he hates me,
Right.
you know. So
Yeah, because how do you tell mama? And mama is God. You're connected to mama. You feel mama. When mama feel pain, you feel it too. When mama says she's sick, he say we sick. Mama is God, right? And here's the deal. And then this will get into what you said about they hate themselves. There's no such thing as hating yourself. There is no you. What it is, these women are raising these children, and they're raising them with resentment in their hearts. They are raising them with the nature of their father, the devil, with anger and not love. And they are impatient with their kids. They try to force their kids to become what they want them to be. They spoil their kids. They take out their anger on the fathers, other fathers on the children. They don't watch their kids and let them develop naturally. They impose their will upon the innocents. And then innocents can't handle that. Kids are innocent, right? And they can't handle that, and they try to forgive mama. Mama say, I'm sorry. Sometimes she say, I'm sorry. And they try to forgive her, but every time they try, she come back and do the same thing over again, until after a while, that kid start to resent mama. And if you notice, after a while, they start acting angry, and now you really can't tell them anything to do, especially mama, right? Because they have now taken on that identity. The spiritual identity has now entered into the children and changed who they are, from father to mother. And so now they feel like a woman, they think like a woman, they're subject to the woman. They can't live with her, they can't live without her, because they don't understand the spirit that's driving them. They don't really know it because people are not talking about it, especially today. You can't say what we are saying. You'll be considered hating women, but I don't care. I want people to wake up and realize, because I see too many people suffering, and they don't know it's a spiritual thing that they're going through. And so when they hate mama, they are separated from God. And that's the pain that they feel. Their spirit is no longer connected to good and peace. It's connected to hatred, to anger, insecurity, doubt, and worry, and that kind of stuff. And that's what they feel. They think that is them, but it's not them. We have a little bit of God nature inside of us, but when we hate, that is taken away from us, and we take on the nature of the devil. But whomever take us away from God causes us to become subject to them. And mamas are taking their children away from God. And that's why they're subject to the mama. So they have this hatred for her, and they don't understand it because it's a love-hate thing. And then they're not going to take it out on you for the most part, so they'll marry somebody or get involved with someone who has the same spirit that mama has. They can't stand up to her, so they cheat on her, they're violent with her, and they don't understand the spiritual battle that's going on with them. And a lot of women don't understand it either. But the pain that you feel on the inside, it's the pain of being disconnected from God. You feel like something is still missing, the love of a father. And so, but if you can realize what's going on and forgive your mothers, if you can forgive her by realizing that she can't help herself, then God would take mama identity away from you and give you his identity, men and women, by the way. He would give you his identity, and that's what it means to be born again, from mama to God. He give you a new nature, a new spirit, a new identity. Then you can love everybody in the right way. Mama, everybody else. You love everybody the way that God loved you, and it's not based on how you feel or what you think about that person. is based on the way God loved you. But men, they don't understand the battle that's going on. And that's what the problem is. And people don't say it anymore, because if you say that women are doing this to the children, they say you hate women. And then we could talk about the men, but we can't talk about the women. But this thing is coming from somewhere, you know. We are a spirit, and our spirit are being corrupt when we're children. And nothing is going to fulfill that but forgiveness. You got to forgive in your heart so God can cleanse you of that spirit. Then you can finally come together in the right way as men and women.
What about,
So there is no self. Yes.
what about if the parents are passed?
If your parent has expired before you're able to forgive them, what you need to do is to know yourself. When you can realize, wow, I couldn't help myself. Look at the things I do that I don't want to do. I'm impatient with my children. I'm this or that. And I don't want to do it. My parents probably felt the same way. You know, they didn't have me just to destroy me. They had to have this thing going on too. And then if you can understand that, it will cause you to forgive them as well. But that's why God said, know thyself so you can go free. It's a spiritual thing. And the world is putting all these things in place of it. Calling everything, calling good evil and evil good, so that people could go blind and not see what's going on. Then you can vote them in. You can go to their church and they take your money because they're using you. They're of their father, the devil, too, and they are using you by keeping you blind. It's a spiritual thing going on. And if mothers understand this, they will forgive their mothers and fathers, so when they do have children, they can pass on love rather than passing on hatred, whether the man is there or not. It can work through the woman, but the hardest thing in the world for women to do is to admit that they're wrong. It is like trying to pull a teeth with a pair of plows. They'll tell you about everybody else being wrong, but rarely have I met a woman who said, you know what, yeah, I am wrong. It's me that's screwing up my children, not my husband or boyfriend. I turn him away from them when he's at work. He said, have them take the trash out, and I tell them, no, you don't have to do it right now. Don't tell your daddy. I do run into women like that, but it is rare. But if you ask them about somebody else, about their boyfriend or their husband, they'll go all night long. They remember stuff from 80 years ago, every little detail of it. But if we could get men to admit they're wrong and women to admit it without excuses, we can be free.
That's right.
That makes sense? We got to tell the truth. Anybody disagree with that? How come you guys so quiet on y'all? Did y'all steal something last night or something? Y'all look like y'all stole something. Do you disagree with what I just said with the hat on? Yes, ma'am. What?
You're talking to her.
Yeah, you. You're the only one over there with a hat on. You disagree with anything I've said? I can't hear you.
No.
I'm sorry?
No.
How old are you?
14.
You're 14. Why you look so worn out? You went to a party last night?
No.
Where did your anger come from? Where'd your anger come from? Are you just like your mama?
No.
Who, you just like your daddy?
No.
Who you just like?
No one.
You're like nobody. Wow. Well, you're 14, so you're not thinking about these things at this point, right? I can't hear you.
No.
No? Okay. In closing, you gotta forgive. If you want to be free and understand what I'm talking about, whatever resentment is in your heart, you gotta admit it so God can cause you to forgive and overcome it. Be still and know the truth, then you shall be made free. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, guys.
For more information or to purchase a copy of this show, visit us on the web at www.bondinfo.org or call 1-800-411-BOND.
You're already home.